From a completely ordinary accountant, this guy transforms into a deadly assassin and sharpshooter. I have only one request for you today. To understand the full story and enjoy the entire video, please watch till the end. Every plot point and the deadly twist at the very end is enough to thrill you. To find out how he turned from an ordinary guy into a lethal assassin and sharpshooter, you need to watch today's explanation of the 2008 movie Wanted. At the beginning of the movie, we see a completely ordinary guy named Wesley Gibson. He works as a low-level accountant at a software company. When he was young, after his mother died, his father left him at an orphanage. And that's how he ended up where he is today. He is extremely simple, and he also suffers from a condition. It's hypertension, meaning even if someone scolds him, his heartbeat skyrockets. And because of this, he starts seeing everything in slow motion. And he immediately needs his medication. Basically, he's a clueless, helpless guy. Exactly like that. His own girlfriend is cheating on him with his co-worker. And even after knowing all this, he doesn't have the courage to tell anyone. Even when everyone around him is partying, he always isolates himself because he has neither enough money nor good health. And this is how his life goes on. On the other hand, we see an assassin named Mr. X. He arrives at a building, hands his colleague a bullet, and asks which company manufactured it. He also instructs her to find out which rifle it was fired from. Mr. X then notices some workers in the building across the street doing construction work, but in reality, they were all assassin shooters. The woman inspects the bullet very carefully and tells him, "I've never seen a bullet like this in my life." Just at that moment, a sniper from the opposite building takes a deadly shot at the woman's head, killing her instantly. Seeing this, Mr. X starts running for his life. And from behind, the sniper fires one shot after another at him. He runs and reaches an elevator, pressing the button. When the elevator opens, he runs at incredible speed through it, toward the building where the sniper is. His running is so fast that everything in the office gets flipped upside down, so you can understand he has a deadly superpower. In one run, he breaks through the building and comes out outside, pulling out a gun from his waist and taking out the sniper and the others with headshots one by one. At the very end, when he falls down, another person assumes he's fallen below. So, when they start looking for him downstairs, he blows their head off from behind. Here's something to know. There are very few people in the world who can curve bullets, meaning when they shoot, the bullets bend at different angles to hit the target. You'll understand this even better a bit later. After taking out everyone, he stands on the rooftop when his phone rings. Mr. X answers and says, "I am the deadliest sharpshooter in the world. It's not so easy to kill me." From the other side of the phone, the shooter says, "This was just a trap to lure you here." Mr. X sees that he is standing on a symbol. At that moment, a deadly bullet comes from somewhere and blows Mr. X's head off. Now we see that the deadly shot came from a sniper named Cross, almost 3 miles away. Cross was an even more dangerous shooter than Mr. X, and now he's desperate to hunt down his enemies one by one. Who is this assassin sniper Cross? And what happened to him that makes him take such deadly shots? Let's find out. We see Wesley Gibson again. He was always late to work. As a result, his tasks always fell behind everyone else's. And in trying to work quickly, he always made mistakes, which his manager would scold him for in front of everyone. This also raised his hypertension every day. One day, when he goes to the pharmacy to buy his medicine, he sees the assassin sniper watching him. Suddenly, a woman comes to him. Her name is Fox. She's a deadly assassin sharpshooter. Fox tells him, "There's a shooter here who wants to kill you." And with that, she pushes Gibson aside and starts shooting at someone behind him. And that person is the deadly assassin sniper, Cross. Fox protects him and, while shooting at Cross, leads Gibson outside. At one point, they manage to hide behind a shelf. Cross fires a shot through the middle of the shelf, and the bullet passes between Fox and Gibson. Fox then realizes that Cross is such a deadly shooter that he's aiming by, seeing their shadows through the glass in front of them. Seeing this shootout, Gibson panics again. He keeps asking Fox, "Why would he want to kill me? I don't have any money. Even my girlfriend is cheating on me with my co-worker." But Fox ignores him and continues the shootout with Cross. Eventually, Fox successfully rescues Gibson. After a long time, Gibson regains consciousness and sees that he's in a thug's hideout. He's surrounded by very dangerous men. There he also sees Fox. She tells him he's been brought here for a very important task. But Gibson doesn't listen and says, "I have nothing. There's only $5 in my bank." He assumes they might have brought him here by mistake. At that moment, the godfather of the assassin shooters, Mr. Sloan, arrives. this. Without listening to Gibson, he hands him a gun and says, "Shoot that fly and cut off its wings." Hearing this, Gibson is completely stunned. A guy who has never even killed an ant is supposed to shoot with such precision to separate a fly's wings? He says, "Sir, you're mistaken. I'm just a normal accountant." At that moment, a shooter named Gunspeed comes up behind him, points a gun at his head and says, "Either you do what my boss says, or I'll blow your head off." Faced with this deadly threat, his panic returns, and that's why he starts seeing everything in slow motion. Driven by survival instinct, he raises the gun and shoots at the fly repeatedly. He drops the gun and quickly searches his pocket for medicine. Mr. Sloan then brings the flies in front of him, and Gibson sees that he has indeed shot and separated the wings of the flies. Seeing this, he is amazed. At the same time, his panic subsides without any medicine. Now Gibson is told that he actually has a superpower inherited from his father. Mr. Sloan says Gibson's father was once a member too. Only a few people in the world have this superpower, which his father also had. But a shooter killed his father a few days ago. He also tells Gibson that all his father's property is now in Gibson's name. Only Gibson can kill this deadly shooter, and that's why he's brought here. Hearing all this, he points the gun at Mr. Sloan and says, "I'm not listening to any of this nonsense." Mr. Sloan tells him, "The people around you are all deadly assassins. It would take them only 2 seconds to kill you. So lower your gun and do as I say. Even if you run away from here, you will still die." But Gibson ignores them and escapes quickly. The next morning, he wakes up thinking it was all a dream. But when he goes to the restroom and finds the gun from yesterday in his pocket, he panics. He quickly hides the gun in the toilet and heads to the office. There, he checks his ATM card and sees there's truly $3.6 million deposited in his account. It's the inheritance left by his father. Now he realizes it wasn't a dream. Everything was real. And he now possesses both his superpower and $3.6 million. That day, his boss begins criticizing him without even seeing any demonstration of his skills. Gibson mocks him in return, saying, "I quit your $2 a day job today." The entire office goes silent at his behavior. Everyone thinks, what? The guy who's always panicking just took down his boss. As Gibson angrily picks up his keyboard and leaves his desk, a coworker asks, "Hey man, how did you improve so fast?" Without a word, he hits his coworker with the keyboard, knocking out a tooth, and walks out of the office. You can imagine, on one side, he has superpowers. On the other, a fresh $3.6 million. His temper is bound to flare. He walks out of the office and sees posters put up. That night, a warrant had been issued for Gibson and Fox after they clashed with the police. At that moment, he sees Fox's car in front of him. He gets straight into her car and goes directly to Mr. Sloan's textile factory. Mr. Sloan asks him why he has come back again. He says that he is fully prepared to fight that shooter. Hearing this, Mr. Sloan orders Fox to test how prepared he really is. After receiving the order, Fox takes him, along with Gibson, to an assassin named McWarren. There, McWarren ties him to a chair and starts punching him mercilessly. Fox tells him that unless he can stop the assassin on his own, they will keep beating him like this. After taking a brutal beating, with his nose and face smashed, he passes out. The next day, he regains consciousness in a wax bathtub. Someone there tells him that this is their healing bath, meaning no matter how badly injured someone is, if they spend one night in this bathtub, they recover completely. Gibson realizes that all the pain from the previous day's beating is actually gone. Now Fox takes him from there to a terrifying butcher and tells him, if you can defeat this butcher, then it will prove you are worthy of fighting that assassin sniper. But if you fail to kill this butcher, he will chop you into pieces. Seeing all this, Gibson almost loses his senses. Still, gathering all his courage, he starts fighting the butcher. But he is just a naive kid. The experienced butcher keeps throwing him down again and again with powerful moves. At one point, the butcher stabs him in the hand with a knife, and Gibson once again loses consciousness. The next day, he again finds himself in the same wax bathtub. Seeing that man there, he asks why he keeps rats with him. The man tells him that they raise these rats for killing missions. Then he shows Gibson a trick. He attaches a time bomb to a rat and throws it away. After a few moments, the rat explodes. Next, when Gibson goes back to Fox, Fox tells him, "Do you see that cord inside the sewing machine? You have to put your hand inside the machine and pull it out." Hearing this, Gibson becomes furious and restless. He says this is completely impossible. If he puts his hand inside, his hand will be cut off. Fox tells him, that then he is not capable of avenging his father's murder. Hearing this, Gibson becomes extremely angry and, without thinking, shoves his hand into the sewing machine. But he cannot pull the cord out, and on top of that, thousands of needles tear his hand to shreds. From there, Fox takes him back to the slaughterhouse again, and this time throws him into an unbelievable test. There, Mr. Sloan hands him a gun and hangs a pig in front of the target, telling him to shoot and hit the target. Gibson says, "How is that possible? If I shoot, the bullet will hit the pig." Mr. Sloan tells him, "You have to shoot in such a way that the bullet bends at a 180-degree angle and hits the target." Hearing this, Gibson almost goes insane. Gibson says this is absolutely impossible. At that exact moment, Mr. Sloan takes a shot, and the bullet bends at a perfect 180-degree angle and hits the target. Seeing this, Gibson is completely shocked. Then Mr. Sloan tells him, "I know you can do this because your father had this ability too." Now Fox stands in front of Gibson's gun and tells him to take the shot. Forced into it, Gibson closes his eyes and fires. This time, his bullet also bends at a 180-degree angle and hits the target. Seeing this, Mr. Sloan tells him, "Now you are fully ready to avenge your father's murder." Seeing his own power, Gibson himself starts becoming stronger from within. Now, even if panic rises, he no longer needs any medicine. Instead, his mind stays focused only on killing missions. Gibson then asks Mr. Sloan how they receive murder orders. Mr. Sloan tells him that the fabric produced by their sewing machines contains linked binary codes. These codes automatically come through, and by decoding them, they find the names of those who have been ordered to be killed. Mr. Sloan tells him that before killing that assassin, he wants to give him one task. Only if he completes it perfectly will he be allowed to kill that assassin. Fox then takes him onto a moving train and tells him that their target is waiting on the 6th floor of the building ahead, so he must take the shot from this moving train. But Gibson says, "Why should I kill a person just by looking at some cloth code number?" Fox tells him that when he was a child, a man brutally murdered his father right in front of him. When he later grew up and contacted this company, he found out from old lists that that man's name had appeared from the machine long ago, but no one killed him. If someone had followed the machine's code back then and killed him, his father would still be alive today. And this machine only sends codes of people who are extremely dangerous to the world. So if you don't kill this man today, he will cause harm to someone else. Hearing all this, Gibson becomes deeply conflicted. At that moment, the train passes extremely close to the building. Without thinking, Gibson fires a terrifying shot at a 180-degree angle, and the bullet pierces straight into the man's chest. After committing this murder, Gibson's confidence increases even more. He then starts repeating all the tests he previously failed, killing one target after another and passing each test. After his first kill, he goes back to that assassin and tells him to beat him however he wants and leave him. Half dead, if he can, he will save himself. The assassin ties him to the chair again and beats him brutally at the same level as before. But this time, Gibson breaks the chair and knocks the assassin unconscious. From there, he goes back to the slaughterhouse and starts a deadly fight with the butcher with a sharp knife. He severely wounds him in the neck and stomach and knocks him unconscious, while Fox watches everything from a distance. Then Gibson goes to the sewing machine, stands there staring intensely at the cord, and eventually manages to put his hand inside and pull it out. After all these tests, Mr. Sloan realizes that Gibson's power is an exact duplicate of his father's abilities. Everything his father could do, Gibson can now do as well. And like this, they continue carrying out one horrifying murder after another. Meanwhile, Mr. Sloan uses Gibson's superpower to eliminate his enemies. One day, Gibson says that he wants to avenge his father's murder today. He asks Mr. Sloan to quickly tell him where he can find the shooter. Saying this, he goes to his girlfriend's house. As soon as he gets there and opens the door, he sees that colleague again, and his temper explodes. He punches him and rushes straight into the bathroom where his pistol was kept. He takes the gun and later, while sitting on the street at night, suddenly spots Cross. The moment he sees him, Gibson starts shooting and Cross fires back to defend himself. When Cross starts running away, Gibson chases him. At that moment, Mr. Sloan's trained assassin gunsmith spots them and also starts chasing them. Gibson loses sight of Cross and then he feels that someone is behind him. The moment he turns and fires a shot, he realizes it's not Cross. It's the man who taught taught him the rat bombing trick. By then, Gunsmith and McQuarrie arrive. They see that one of their own has been shot by Gibson and is dying. They desperately try to stop the bleeding and keep him breathing, but the man slowly dies. At that moment, from a distance, Cross shoots at Gibson and the bullet hits Gibson's arm. Cross actually wanted Gibson to follow the bullet's trail and reach him, which is why he shot his arm instead of killing him. Gibson truly pulls the bullet out and starts tracing its path. Questions begin to form in his mind. If Cross really wanted to kill him, why didn't he do it despite having so many chances? And what kind of enmity did Cross have with his father that made him kill him? To find answers to these questions, reaching Cross becomes extremely important. So Gibson pressures Mr. Sloan heavily to tell him about Cross, but Mr. Sloan says he knows nothing about Cross, except that a senior assassin named Pure Sky trained him. Hearing this, Gibson immediately sets out to find that assassin. Meanwhile, Mr. Sloan orders Fox to kill Gibson, because if Gibson reaches the assassin, he will discover his true identity. Fox starts chasing Gibson, while Gibson reaches senior assassin Pure Sky's house. There, he sees that this man is also weaving fabric using a sewing machine. Just like Sloan, meaning something is clearly wrong, Gibson points his gun at him, shows him the bullet, and asks who bought it from him and where their address is. Pure Sky says he doesn't remember who bought it right now, but he has a list at his house, so they will have to go there together to find out. As they arrive at a station to go to the house, Pure Sky tricks Gibson and starts running away. Fox watches all of this from a distance because now he has only one target, Gibson. As Gibson chases Pure Sky, he suddenly realizes that the person he has been running after is actually inside this train. He quickly turns back and starts looking for Cross. Meanwhile, Fox takes a car and starts chasing the train. Because if Gibson reaches Cross, he will learn everything. Inside the train, an intense shootout begins between Cross and Gibson. When Gibson's shots threaten civilians, Cross fires back to deflect the bullets and protect them. Then Fox drives his car at full speed and crashes straight into the train. Due to this sudden impact, the train starts derailing. Now Cross, Gibson and Fox are all inside the same train. As the train reaches a bridge, a horrific accident occurs. All the rear compartments derail and fall into the deep abyss below. As Gibson also starts falling with one of the compartments, Cross grabs his hand and saves him from this terrible danger. But Gibson pulls out his gun and shoots Cross straight in the chest. That compartment also breaks loose and falls into the abyss. When everything becomes completely silent, Gibson points his gun at Cross and asks why he killed his father. Here comes the biggest twist of the movie. Cross reveals that Gibson is his only son, meaning the deadly assassin Cross is actually Gibson's real father. Saying this, Cross dies right in front of his son. Gibson asks Fox if what Cross said was true. Fox confirms that Cross was indeed Gibson's real father and adds that now someone will definitely try to kill Gibson because this was Mr. Sloan's order. In other words, Sloan brutally hypnotized Gibson and forced him to kill his own father with his own hands. After hearing all of this from Cross, Gibson begins to regret his mistake. To escape from Fox, Gibson fires inside the hanging train compartment. Along with the entire compartment, both Cross and Gibson fall into a deep abyss and disappear. The next day, when Gibson regains consciousness, he finds himself inside his father's house. He realizes that he was rescued and brought there by the senior assassin, Pequari Sky. Gibson then notices that from the room he is in now, his old room is clearly visible, which means his father had been watching him all along. The senior assassin explains that from this very room, Gibson's father constantly kept an eye on him so that no one could kill him. That is why, during Gibson's childhood, his father left him in an orphanage so he could live a normal life. He also reveals that Gibson's father always wanted to protect him. He never shot at Gibson before. Instead, he only fired to save himself from Gibson's bullets. He further explains that Gibson's father also worked with Sloan, but one day he discovered that Sloan was a fraud. Sloan used to change the name codes from the machine according to his own interests. Even Sloan's own name once appeared in the machine, but he altered it. In reality, Sloan only used Gibson to make him kill his own father. After hearing all this, Gibson completely loses his mind and becomes determined to blow Sloan's head off. Inside his father's house, Gibson finds all the maps his father made to destroy Sloan's entire base. Taking those maps and his father's sniper rifle, Gibson begins preparing for revenge. First, Gibson buys a large amount of peanut butter to catch rats. Using the peanut butter, he traps rats, straps bombs to them, loads them into a truck and drives straight to Sloan's hideout. Once inside, he releases the bomb-fitted rats, and within moments, one explosion after another begins destroying the base. At the same time, Gibson smashes through a window and enters inside. One by one, he delivers brutal headshots, blowing apart the skulls of Sloane's men. When McWarren attacks him, Gibson kills him with a single shot and uses his body as cover, while continuing to shoot everyone behind him. Within moments, Gibson turns the place into pure hell, killing everyone with deadly precision. After wiping everyone out, Gibson goes to the slaughterhouse, where he brutally injures the butcher and eventually kills him by driving a metal rod through his chest. From there, Gibson heads straight to Sloane's main headquarters. As soon as he arrives, Fox and several of Sloane's followers surround him and hold him at gunpoint. Gibson tells them that Sloane is a dangerous con artist. He explains that the machine had sent Sloane's codename long ago, but Sloane changed it and manipulated everyone into becoming his slaves. When Fox questions Sloane, Sloane claims that the machine has produced codenames for everyone present, including Fox. He hands each of them their own code names and then says that if he made a mistake, they should put a gun to their heads and pull the trigger. Otherwise, they should kill Gibson. Saying this, Sloane cleverly escapes. Just then, as one of them is about to shoot Gibson, Fox fires a legendary 360-degree curved shot. With a single bullet, one by one, everyone's skull explodes. In the end, that same bullet hits Fox himself and he also dies. Gibson realizes that Fox was a victim just like him. Without saying anything further, Gibson leaves the place. But do you think Gibson let Sloane go? A few days later, Sloane comes to Gibson's office searching for him and finally points a gun at his head, only to realize that it is not Gibson, but someone who looks exactly like him. At that moment, Sloane notices that he is standing on a cross symbol. As he looks up, a terrifying bullet comes out of nowhere and blows off Sloane's skull. That deadly shot was fired by Gibson from nearly 6 kilometers away using his father's sniper rifle. With this shot, the chapter of the fake Sloane finally comes to an end, and the movie concludes